Hello, everybody. It's another episode of the Two Old Gamers podcast, and I'm here as always with Mike. Hello. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, not too bad actually. Got lots of things to chat about,
Hmm.
and yet again, my knowledge of the industry will be proved correct yet again.
Well,
We'll get to that.
you're being the what was it? The gaming Nostradamus again, aren't you?
I believe that's a good way to describe my knowledge of the situation in the gaming industry right now. But
So go on.
yeah.
Why don't you start off with that? What have you predicted that's come true?
Well, I said Judgment 2 has been made by RGG Studio,
Right.
didn't I?
Yeah.
And on the 7th of May, which is 2 days' time, they got Judgment Day. Because they just released Judgment on PS5, which I had to pay $34.99 for. But I bought it physical, actually. I bought it on physical because I didn't own Judgment physically before. So I thought, actually, this is quite good. I can get my physical copy of Judgment. And Judgment Day's been mentioned, and I'm like, what's going on here? And then people were replying to tweets or something or sharing stuff. And all of a sudden, people were piecing together little snippets that Sega were releasing. These snippets, when stuck together, people were going like, hold on a minute, this is Judgment, yeah, but it's not Judgment that we know.
It's really cool. The first few clips they released, it was like, oh, this is cool. There's clips from Judgment.
Yeah.
They were a bit on Twitter. They were a little bit low quality, and it's like, oh, is this new or not new? But then all of a sudden, as they've gone down the line, they're dead.
Yeah, I could tell straight away I'd not seen it before because I played the game twice, so I know what's in this game. But yeah, and there's one bit of video that I think you linked me to. It's like Enter the Dragon. This guy with this like claw hand thing having a massive fight with Yagami. And I've actually heard, since there could be a rumor that they're going to use, now they've got Yokohama from Like a Dragon all fully rendered, they could actually move Judgment to Yokohama.
I thought I saw a clip. Did one of the clips say let's go to Yokohama or something like that?
There's something that I've seen. I don't know quite what, but typical RGGs that once they've rendered a new city, like they've got Sotenbori and they've got Kamurocho and they've got Yokohama. I mean, in Yakuza 5, they had a few others as well, but they weren't as finely detailed. They were almost just like, a few blocks. But Yokohama is a massive, massive piece of real estate that they've spent a lot of time creating. So if they can just dick around with a color palette and things like that, and just imagine the detective adventures he could go on it somewhere in a city that size.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I'm really stoked, and Judgment 2, I'm assuming, is going to be, because I think that Sega also registered a trademark for, what did they? I can't remember. They registered a trademark for a different sort of name title, Judgment something or other. And I'm like, yeah. So while I'm on the subject of Judgment, I got the PS5 version, and some people were going on about they don't like it or it doesn't look to be much of an upgrade. Well, it's funny because I don't know that it's 4K, but it looks 4K. It's 60 frames a second. The fighting is so much more fluid. I mean, it just brings it back to me how goddamn good the game is, really. The story's brilliant, and even so far as Push Square went and reviewed and said, look, we think we were hard on Judgment. After replaying it again, it's actually one of the best Yakuza games, hands down.
Oh yeah. So
and
you,
I like it.
you
Yeah,
played this game through twice
yeah,
on PS4.
yeah.
What are you? What's it like playing it through a third time now, but on PS5? Are you regretting your purchase, or is it still? Yeah, are you still hooked on it?
This is the point I wanted to make, was that you've got the sort of, oh, it's refined visuals, it's 4K, it's 60 frames a second. They don't say it's 4K, so it could be slightly less, 2K or something, but it looks bloody lovely.
Yeah,
The main thing they've done is they went a bit overboard on the PS4 version on the palette to get a noirish look. It ended up being orange and brown all the time, which was fine for the look of it. But what they've done, it's a bit like if you see a Blu-ray of a movie and then you watch the 4K that's had proper HDR and had a proper 4K scan. It's that refined. I mean, at night, this game looks absolutely stunning. It's actually the best looking Yakuza type game you'll ever see. I thought Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon looked a bit washed out and a bit bland. A lot of it's to do with the architecture, but just the palette they used, it was a bit lifeless. I know some of the battles were more over the top, but this game looks bloody lovely. The character models, I mean, the trailers don't do it justice. And the weird thing is that there's tons of subtle things they've done in the graphics. The particle effects are massively improved. I mean, I was in Charles, the arcade, one of the places, and you can see hanging in the air like dust. You look at the brickwork on.
actually,
I mean, I did a look. Look at the brickwork and the actual buildings and things like that. They look so realistic now. They look very, very. They've really upped the detail and the there is like subtle reflection shit going on, and it's a real refinement of the Dragon engine, which really hit its peak with Kiwami 2, I think. If you went to Sotenbori at night, Kiwami 2, it looked spectacular, didn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, I mean, I didn't play Judgment a lot, but
it's a shame because it's fantastic.
It was a good, yes, it's a Yakuza spin-off, but it was actually a damn good detective game as well.
Yeah.
Actually, playing as a detective and doing detectives type stuff.
Yeah. Well,
almost like LA Noir. Nothing like that outside of the Sherlock Holmes games. But I don't know. It felt more like a Yakuza LA Noir. Really.
You got so much more to do than in a normal Yakuza game. With Kiryu, it's just beat the crap out of everyone, going on to the next big massive battle.
That is true, actually, isn't it?
You have things where you're analysing evidence, you're giving multiple choice answers that you get bonuses for when you interview people. So you've got to be switched on and pay attention.
Yeah.
This was also the first game that came out with a nice bespoke English dub that actually was better and made me want to play Yakuza 7 with an English dub as well.
Yeah.
The mini games in this, like the drone racing, is brilliant fun. And the dice game, which they call Paradise VR or something, is a brilliant board game. It's almost like playing a mini game on a fruit machine or something. You roll the dice, you move up, and depending on what square you land on, you either have a battle, you get a lock-picking challenge, or you advance squares, you get dice. And it's a way to earn money in the game. They always put a particular mini game, like in Yakuza 7, a way to earn lots of money to pay for all the shit that they tantalize with you at the beginning of every game, that graphic on the screen there that you just put up, that's not in that's not in Judgment. Number 1, that picture that's on the screen now, that is not in Judgment 1.
Really? So
or that other one. Those are the new game. Yeah, that's not.
Oh, right.
Well, hold on. That looks like Hammerer there, possibly.
This is the product page for Judgment on the store.
Maybe I'm wrong then.
But I mean, I was just saying, some of the screenshots there, you can tell there's a lot more detail. There was one screenshot.
Character models look great.
That was like, hang on, let's see if I can get it up again. You were saying about the particle effects, and I think on that screen that I put up now, you can see, I can see on the screen every single particle of his sweeping kick. You know,
when you go down the back alleyways, right? There's now steam coming out of all of the aircon units and stuff.
Could you try again?
Sorry, Siri's decided to chip in. I don't know why.
When you go down the back streets and stuff, you're getting particles and steam coming out of the aircon vents from the buildings and things.
Oh, really?
And I know it's a very simple thing, but it really brings the city. Do you know what? Out of all of the cities that I've played in Yakuza games, this one feels the most alive. I think there's more NPCs. It loads really quick. It's fluid. It's smooth as hell.
This version,
I think it's brilliant.
This version of Kamurocho, is this? I get confused with the timelines. Is this Kamurocho after Yakuza 6? So this is the most modern Yakuza.
Yeah, this was the most modern until they went to it in Yakuza 7.
I honestly.
But that was
the one in Yakuza 7 was very similar to this.
Yeah.
But I just think that I didn't really. I just thought, it would just be an FPS upgrade and maybe slightly higher quality textures. But I think they've done a lot under the hood in terms of graphical refinement. That when you're then playing the game, especially at night or if it's wet, it's been raining or something like that, it looks absolutely incredible. Especially so much that I've been walking around in first person.
Wow. I mean, I suppose that's like kind of, you saying about you're worried about it was just going to be an FPS upgrade and a resolution boost. Essentially, that is what the Yakuza 7 next gen port actually was.
Correct.
So you could I can understand why why there's a certain sort of like concern about this. But I mean,
this looks much better than Yakuza 7 in my opinion. But
they wasted no time, did they? I mean, literally the day this launched on PS5, the Twitter account started up.
Judgment 7. Sorry, not Judgment 7. Judgment Day, which is 7th of May.
Yeah.
Only 2 days. And it looks, from what I've seen already, the cutscenes look even more amazing. And if you haven't really played Judgment, mate, honestly, if you can trade some games in or something and get the PS5 version, you won't be disappointed.
It's not that expensive.
Beautiful.
It's not that expensive.
Beautiful.
It's only like 30 quid.
Oh, no, absolutely.
So,
I got it for 32 quid.
Full whack either. So that.
Digital is $34.99, but I bought physical because I actually did buy the Judge Eyes triple CD from Japan, didn't I?
Yeah.
I found it in my car the other day.
The music in this is much better as well. I really like the music in this.
Yeah, music's very good.
So, of course, the only thing that with this that is a bit of a problem is that if you own the PS4 version of Judgment, there's no upgrade path. You have to purchase the game again.
Yeah.
But do you think, now that you've played it, do you think that
I don't feel ripped off
the amount of stuff they put into it is justifying you having to buy it again?
If you've never played one of these Yakuza games, Judgment is the perfect jumping off point because you don't need any history or knowledge of anything. That's the beauty of it. A bit like Yakuza 0. I mean, God, if they actually brought out an updated version of Yakuza 0, I would buy that.
They've just finished remastering all of the Yakuza series. Don't start remastering the Masters.
I'm just saying, Yakuza 0 is amazing. See, the thing about...
never mind that, remaster Fist of the North Star.
Yeah, well, I bought... You know, Yakuza 6 came out on PC.
Recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I bought it. Because Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, is great. Now... when I tried to play it, it was choppy. It was like my PC had lost its graphics card. And after much... But then I went to play Binary Domain, a really old game, and that was choppy as fuck. And I'm like, what the hell's gone wrong with my PC? Anyway, the thing that fixed it was my NVIDIA drivers is doing a complete install, a custom install, not an iterative update. Somewhere along the line, the NVIDIA drivers had got fucked up, or DirectX or something like that. I found this great video on YouTube, and he basically tells you to delete some cache file where all these DirectX things are, and then do a fresh install of your NVIDIA drivers rather than what you normally do is you get an iterative update. So what it does, it looks at files you've already got, adds the new ones and updates them, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah? And as soon as I did that, everything then was like, oh, shit, I can play it in 4K 60 frames a second. And that's where Yakuza 6 looks bloody brilliant. And I love that game. So I've got that on the PC, and it looks fantastic. And you've got lots of obviously quality sliders and things like that, so you know you can really make the game fly and be smooth, because the combat, especially in the Dragon engine, because it's inertia and physics based, is much better in higher frames than 30 frames a second. 60 FPS makes it feel like a different game, almost. Much more satisfying. I mean, number 6 is a brilliant game.
Looking at the trailer now for number 6, the PS4 trailer on the store, it shows that it's the first game that used the Dragon engine. You can see that it's moved on already in quite a short space of time.
Yeah. Well, I think Judgment, the PS5 version, is fantastic, and I would actually say that if you've not finished the original game, I'd flog the other version if you got it, or flog whatever you got and get it. You know, it'll probably be cheap in a few weeks' time or months anyway, and buy it because it's so good. It's such a nice, refined, beautiful looking game. And this is the other thing, the palette change. It's like they've regraded a movie and made it look fantastic.
I've seen a few people mention about the palette change and how much effect it makes.
Massive. It looks so much better. So much.
I think they were trying originally to try and differentiate it from Song of Light, because the two came out quite close in the West.
Well, yeah, I think that what they were trying to do was make it look more detective and noirish, give it like a gloomy noir feel. Well, they've actually still achieved it with this palette that they've got now anyway. It's just that it's not like there's an orange filter over everything. You know, like if you've got a sheet of orange gel from a light and you put it over your screen, that's sort of what it looked like before, whereas now it looks like a beautifully graded movie. And I think it's got HDR, I'm not sure. Believe it or not, in the actual setup, there's no adjustments of anything in the actual options on Judgment. What you get is what you get.
Yeah.
What you get is bloody good and looks lovely. So top notch it is. It's great.
So
Talking of free
2 days.
upgrades that aren't free, that's that one. But I did get a free upgrade of Terminator Resistance that came out last Friday.
So is that now upgraded?
Yes.
So if you've got the PS4 version, you can now upgrade to that, because there was they did say initially there was going to be a problem, didn't they?
Yeah, it was only a week or two after they released the actual game itself on PS5. I think, I don't know, maybe they did that as a little way to see if they could eke out some extra sales. But to me, it doesn't, it looks, it's 4K and it's very smooth and it's nice. Okay. And later on, the graphics do get quite good and quite better. And they, they've nailed the sound, they've nailed the look of the robots. They've obviously got all the licenses in place to use all the sounds and everything. And it's set you're in the Resistance, and you're basically, this is before the bit where hopefully the tide turns in the war.
Gotcha.
And it's not a AAA game, but it's a very good, fun game that if you own the PS4 version or picked it up cheap at the time, it's worth upgrading to the latest version.
This is a game that I've always looked at and wondered about picking up at some point, because I used to be a very big fan of. Now, it was Bethesda who made it. In between Elder Scrolls games, they made a Terminator game in the 90s called, I think it was Terminator Future Shock. And
I remember that game, and this is basically a modern day version of that game.
Yeah, and that's what I've always wanted out of a Terminator game, is to be that kind of thing, a future, a modern day version of that game from the 90s. Because
it's like the film Terminator Salvation. It's set during that time period.
Oh, cool. I mean,
they mention John Connor in the game actually.
Mm-hmm.
And what the thrust of the story is that basically you've been targeted for termination, and this is at the point where they're just discovering that part of the story is you discovering the machines experimenting to put flesh on the T-800s.
Oh, right. Okay.
To then create these Terminators that look like humans. So I haven't gone all the way through it yet, but I played quite a bit of it. It's good. But I can't say that like Judgment, initially I thought, oh, that's not much of an upgrade, but I'll get it anyway. And now I'm like, no, I'm blown away by what they've done. I think they've done a bloody really good job on it. And I understand what they've done has not been easy to sell, if you like, because it's not immediately obvious.
Yeah.
But when you're playing the game, as I said, the detail is a lot. There's a lot more high-res textures there and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the lighting, they've done something with the lighting and the reflections and particle effects, and all this combines together to make that city feel like the most alive city you've ever been in a Yakuza game type game. Terminator's good. What else? I haven't played it yet, but I got Crisis Remastered. I picked it up cheap.
PS4 version. Patch, didn't it?
Yeah, it got a patch so that it could like run unlocked frame rates and shit on the PS5.
But it's not. I think it, even because it still uses software ray tracing, which is Crytek's solution. But I think I watched the Digital Foundry on it, and it was quite interesting. It's like still not. It's not 4K, but it's a higher resolution than the others, and it looks very, very good.
They added some levels in that you could never get on the console before as well, in the remaster as well.
Oh yeah, the old there's a flying level or something, isn't it?
I've never played Crisis ever, and I know on the PC it was a bit janky in terms of controls because it would never work with a joystick or something.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd grab it. So I need to play that. I picked up MotoGP 21, which as a bike game is bloody good actually, but it's hard. But I'm into my bikes at the moment, so MotoGP 21 it actually handles really nicely. But to be quick, you've got to be very precise and on it like you would in normal racing. So it's a very accurate rendition of the sport. Picked up Wreckfest, one of the PS Plus games. Wow,
yeah,
that's amazing.
Now that's an interesting one this month because the game's not actually released until next month, but PS Plus owners get access to the PS5 version a month early.
Oh, really? Blimey.
Yeah, so it's not like, if you haven't got PS Plus, you can buy it. No. You literally just have to, you have to download it and download it from PS Plus now. I've had a couple of
Sony are knocking it out of the park because on PS Plus, as far as I'm concerned, I've never known it been so good.
Battlefield 5, which I haven't installed yet, but I mean, I'd play the campaign on that.
Yeah, Stranded Deep's is a fun game.
I tried it. I have to admit, I tried it last night, and I think
it's a bit janky.
Maybe because I've been playing so many action-orientated games recently, it seemed quite slow. I couldn't find leaves.
You end up dying very quickly in that, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Once you start starving and, But yeah, that's a survival game. I've not played Soulstorm. I did download it and put it in my Age Soulstorm. I've not even played it yet.
I played the first 2 levels.
What's it like?
Oddworld.
Okay.
It's Oddworld. It's a very pretty looking Oddworld. More of the same. I think the controls are slightly better. And it looks amazing. But it's exactly what you expect it to be. It's another Oddworld in that 2D type platformer. So yeah, it's good.
Okay. One game I did a stream on was I've been playing Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts on the PS4.
So have they just announced a new one?
Well, there is Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2, and that's a PS5 one. So I've been playing the PS4 version, which I don't know. It's running smooth as silk. Runs really well.
Yeah,
because it's not got the testicular damage type X-ray cam like you get in Sniper Elite, but it's got heads blown off and all that sort of stuff. And it's a bit like, it reminds me a bit of like a spy sneaky stealth game,
gotcha. Yeah.
But then when the shit when the shit hits the fan, it only takes a few shots and you're dead. It's tough, not easy.
No.
And they've got some gadgets so you can see heat signatures. Really, it's fun. It's really good fun actually. But it's not a must-have. But it's just something that if you ever see it in the sale, I think it's worth maybe checking out.
Cool.
I bought Returnal, but I'll let you talk about that.
Right.
The only thing is I've got Resident Evil Village at the moment, which I pre-ordered. Basically, I cashed in my Cyberpunk money and got that back, and I bought Resident Evil Village, and that in 15 hours and 20 minutes, I can play it.
Why?
I won't be, because I'll be at work.
Why would you get a refund for Cyberpunk? I don't understand that.
Well, according to the reviews of Village, it's coming out at this is one of the best games since Res Evil 4, and there's a lot of Res Evil 4 vibes in it, which we got from the trailers anyway.
So so they did this demo, didn't they? Which was very sort of like
Maiden.
Typically Capcom demo of there's 3 separate demos, and you can only play them at these times for half an hour.
Oh no, I did the one before that called Maiden, and I played that.
So I only did the first demo, which was the one in the village. I will not spoil anything for you.
No, don't tell me, because I'm avoiding all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I won't tell you anything about it at all. Apart from, it looked amazing. Where Resident Evil 7 looked great on the PS4 and almost looked photorealistic.
Yeah, it looked like Texas Chainsaw, didn't it?
It's just like there's a moment where you think, oh my god, is this really happening? Is this real? Is this a cutscene? Oh my god, no, it's in game.
Well,
It's
they said in
absolutely
reviews that you shouldn't turn off ray tracing. They recommend you stick to the 45 to 60 frames a second with ray tracing rather than go for the 60 frames a second constant with no ray tracing, because they said you're losing some beautiful effects that are worth. I mean, if it's 45 frames a second, it's still pretty slick. So the reviews are in, and it's like, I know Push Square said it's really close. Is this better than Res Evil 4, which is one of yours and my favourite Res Evils?
Res Evil 4. Oh, don't talk to me about it.
I remember when we played it around your house on your GameCube.
Oh, that bloody Resident Evil. That Resident Evil showcase they did recently, and they suddenly announced Resident Evil 4 VR.
Yeah.
Oculus Quest and not PlayStation VR, and it's like, oh, come on.
No, but it'll come out on PlayStation VR 2, which we know is coming.
Yeah.
I've even said it.
The VR, the PSVR people are sort of like really hoping that at some point 8 becomes a VR title like 7 did.
Yeah.
7 in VR was terrifying. I started playing it and I gave up.
Well, I found that terrifying. Well, that's one of the things they said, is that they've cut back a bit on the terror and given you. It's a bit like Res Evil 2, is that even though you've been chased by Mr. X all the time, you can still go into a save room and relax and catch your breath, and then you can gather your thoughts and plans and go out and, and that works. Whereas
that's a good analogy.
Insanity,
Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 7 are probably a bit alike, where it's sort of like you're more on the defensive and it's more scary, and it's your weapons are hard to come by and you're outnumbered.
7 is like is so visceral.
10 too.
You get your hand chopped off in the first 10 minutes of the game
by your girlfriend.
Yeah,
that was a kick in the teeth.
Have you finished 7 ever?
No.
Have you finished it?
No,
I have.
I
finished 7. I completed it. It was really good.
I'm too scared. I'm not doing that.
No, but not in VR. I did it in normal.
Oh dear.
Village looks brilliant, and it's got werewolves possibly and vampires and all sorts of things. It's gothic as fuck, and it looks brilliant. So I'm really looking forward to that. And in what's today? Wednesday. So in 2 days' time plus a week, the games I'm looking forward to the most this year: Mass Effect Trilogy, Legendary Edition. I just can't wait for that. I'm just going to be playing the shit out of that. Nothing else will be played once I get that trilogy.
I sent you a link earlier on our Facebook group, but
all the free stuff.
They put all the bonus content out that was sort of like originally like with the retail versions of Mass Effect 2 and 3, but they just EA have just chucked it all out for free. Just like 1.7 gig. There's like soundtracks, art books, there's PDFs, all digital, but that's a good little bonus to pick up right now.
I think some of that you got on Origin anyway if you bought certain things, because I know I own all the games on Origin, and believe it or not, I did a Mass Effect 1, 2 and got halfway through 3, and then when they announced it I just stopped. I thought, no, I'm just going to stop playing now, because I'd got to the point where your galactic readiness was only at 50%, and that's because I tried to go onto a multiplayer game and there was no multiplayer games.
Galactic readiness.
So the PC version is basically flawed, because unless you get your galactic readiness to 100%, you haven't got a chance of getting the, in quotes, best ending. But you don't know what the ending is because you ain't fucking played it, have you?
Me? No.
And that's why I think you've got so much to look forward to if you can replay that trilogy from start to finish.
that was literally it was the silliest thing ever. But it was literally the only reason I never played Mass Effect 3 is because I got a PlayStation 3.
Now, hold on. Are you telling me you've never played Mass Effect 3 at all?
I played like the opening mission.
Oh my God!
Yeah, no, I didn't.
So,
I didn't really,
you wait till you play Citadel, the DLC.
No, I literally, I'd spent all these years on Xbox progressing my character through from 1 to 2. Yeah. And when I got number 3, it was also around the time that I got into my PS. I got a PS Vita and a PS3, and I'd started playing Uncharted games, and I just never went back. Just never went back.
You know what? You're so lucky because you're gonna. I think 3's the best Mass Effect game of the 3 of them myself. Contrary to everyone else's views, I thought 3 was just like the pinnacle of the music is so emotive and emotional and resonates. It's beautiful, the music, and that combined with the acting.
I'll get to finish it for the first time with the expanded fixed ending that they put in later. Is that right?
Well, when I played 3 and finished it, they'd already released that, so I didn't lose out by getting the shit ending and then replaying it. I got the proper ending, stroke S endings, but I'm sure you know which ending I chose when you get there. But it's phenomenal. The trilogy is the best. Forget saying, oh, it's the best trilogy in gaming. That each game is one of the best fucking RPGs ever done. Number 3 just kicks ass. Eh?
Just cut to the chase and just actually say, I would safely say that BioWare have not made a better game since.
No. Some people like Dragon Age, but
I'm not a big
Mass Effect 3 for me was when you actually have played 1 and 2, and then the stakes get so like number 3, you're really on the back foot, whereas in the other 2, you felt like Shepard at least had a little bit of like, you know, in number 3, it almost makes Shepard feel totally powerless, and then he has to try and pull something out of his arse or her arse to try and fix everything. It's amazing. Number 3 is absolutely. I mean, the fact that it's not been shipped with the multiplayer, but the multiplayer for 3 was brilliant. It was actually bloody good. It's like a horde mode, co-op horde mode. It was fantastic. Now they've basically remade number 1. I would say that graphics there, that's from the Citadel DLC. You're getting all the DLC with this game, apart from something called.
It's a Mass Effect 1 DLC, isn't it? Something Station.
Yeah. What that was you go to a space station and then there's a shooting range, and all you end up doing is there's like a high score table, and you go around shooting bad guys. And when you see it, it's actually almost like a precursor to the model for their multiplayer. So. Anyway, so you're not missing out on
one of those things, though, isn't it? Silly reason why they can't do it is simply because
they outsourced it to another developer,
and that company went bust, and the source code got lost when they went bust.
You're not losing anything though. I've played it, and to be honest with you, I was like, "What the fuck's this shit?" It's the weakest thing I've ever played in any of the Mass Effect games.
We'll also get all of the I'm assuming we're going to get all of the promotional stuff that they launched.
You're going to get stuff that's in a way with Dr. Pepper. Apparently, you're going to get like a weapon that only people that drank Dr. Pepper got.
I remember when they did that though for Mass Effect 2.
Yeah,
and all the codes leaked online.
Oh, right.
And I put them all in, so I had all of that Dr. Pepper stuff.
Oh, did you?
On my character. Just because they
get all the armor. I mean, the DLC alone, I mean, the actual sections of content that they added, there's one of them, I can't remember what it's called now, but you end up going down onto this planet that's full of like water, you know, like in Destiny, the planet with just the sea everywhere.
Yeah.
I think it's called, there's one called Overlord, and then there's another one where you go down in this thing deep under the sea.
Mm.
And I'm not saying any more than that, but that DLC, there's another DLC where you go down to this planet, right? And you're talking to the people, the scientists there, and they're all a bit weird, and it's really freaky. And again, fantastic DLC. You got Lair of the Shadow Broker, which was sort of like, if you never played it, you miss out on one of the main characters' sort of story arcs that it does almost smack of like, oh, fuck me, EA took it out to sell it separately. But BioWare actually, they were so up against it that they made the games and then they added stuff that they wanted to do afterwards, and then they sold it as DLC.
Mm.
So they basically added canon content after, because they hadn't had a chance to make it, from what I see, before.
Oh, look at that.
Put one up to a remastered sort of version of 2 and 3.
Mm.
So 2 and 3 will still look better. You're going to be running at 60 frames a second, which we all know is lovely, because the actual original games ran at like 20 frames a second on the PS3. Mass Effect 3 was woeful, the fucking frame rates on that. And they've tweaked all the guns. They've given you a consistent HUD throughout the whole game. They fixed inventory management. They've done so much than just literally go, oh, we're just going to chuck this into 4K and give you 60 frames. They have done a massive amount of work, but still retain the character that made the original game so good.
Yeah.
And by chucking in like probably 100 quid's worth of DLC, of add-ons and DLC, you're getting such a good value proposition.
If you
I mean, the things about...
read the description there, it's over 40 DLCs.
Yeah. Yeah, which is like guns and weapon packs and costume packs and stuff like that. But in terms of main story, lumps of like, you know, like almost like you'd get in the season pass from Ubisoft, like a whole side storyline that would last you a couple of hours, you're getting about 5 or 6 of those.
Mm.
And the Citadel DLC, Shepard even gets given a flat on the what's that the main space station? Oh
It's
god,
got
the Presidium. The Presidium.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That. He's got his own flat. And then they even added like a casino, and they added more elements to for you to walk around and stuff.
Yeah.
And talk about fan service, it is like, you know, it's just brilliant. I'm not the only one that's saying that Mass Effect is the best fucking video game you could probably end up playing, because the characters, you know, your journey through that and the decisions you make, good or bad, you know, I mean, there's some of them that it really puts you in a spot.
Mm.
And it really has to make you question your morals and whether you like a character or not like a character. It's awesome.
So EA they're finally catching on, aren't they? They're starting to catch on to this. If they give people what they want, people buy it, and they're slowly figuring this out again after years of just focusing on multiplayer and FIFA. And I mean,
they need to give that. They need to understand that IP that is popular can remain popular and also have a new lease of life for other players if they don't fuck them over and take the path of least resistance. At least if they put some fucking effort in and provide value for money for the end user, then everyone's happy. Everyone's a winner. You can have my money, EA. Yeah, take my £60.
So then I was very surprised late last week, when it turns out that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, a game that EA have already released, sort of a backward compatible next gen enhancement patch, to boost the resolution and frame rate on next gen systems and textures. I think it upgrades textures as well. So this one patch did quite a lot. They actually announced that game is getting a full next gen upgrade in this summer, and it's free to current owners. It's like,
see, that's good.
They're figuring it out.
Did you know? Going back to textures, Mass Effect Remastered, they used an AI upgrading program. They upgraded 300,000, I think it was, textures in the games. So, see, the thing is, right, you look at these videos and you look at the static pictures, once you get that game running in 4K, 60 FPS with upgraded lighting and textures on your own telly in front of you, I think it's going to blow you away.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, you're absolutely right.
It's going to be like, wow.
And that's a big thing as well, is that, like recently with some of the video previews for Returnal, somebody actually pointed out, I think it was SkillUp pointed out, that he's capturing this at 1080p, 60 frames a second. So you watching it on the YouTube is not doing it justice. It's not.
Yes.
You see it running on your own TV in 4K at 60 frames a second is much better than watching it on YouTube.
Well, I've always said that about anything.
These screenshots that I've just put up on Mass Effect, they look pretty, but when we actually get the game in our hands, it's going to look astounding.
It's like Judgment, okay?
Yeah.
If you see it on my TV, you're like, whoa, that is beautiful. And that's the thing. And some things, I think it's like the difference between Blu-ray and 4K movies. It's like you can look at them, but it's only when you see them with HDR, the fine detail, and you start noticing things you never noticed before in a movie.
Yeah.
It's like I watched Jaws, the 4K UHD the other day, the film, right? Obviously. And there's a bit where this boat goes out and there's a whippy area, not a boat. He reverses his Jeep out. I know it's bullshit, but I didn't notice he had a whippy aerial on his truck. And that's because I'd never noticed it in the other versions of the film, but on 4K, the 4K sort of transfer they did of Jaws is beautiful. It looks just like the film would have been in pristine condition when it came out back in the 70s.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is it's the same with these games, and that's why I noticed Judgment, the particle effects and steam, and then once I started noticing it, I started looking at the brickwork, and there's a reflective sheen on brickworks and different surfaces, and it's just like, well, it may have had this before, but I certainly didn't notice it. Your eye then starts dialing in on the detail, and that makes the world more believable, and you get more out of the game because, as I said, you walk around these. I mean, there's one shot, literally, I was playing this evening in a cutscene, and I didn't press the button, and it froze, and it almost looked like a real city street.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say photorealistic, but it wasn't far off. It looked, the lighting and everything, it just looked like, wow, that looks incredible.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, so Mass Effect is out in a week and 2 days, and I'm praying that the gamecollection.net will post it to me, and it'll arrive because they take 2 days for post, so they want to make sure it gets here. So maybe they'll post it out Tuesday, and I might get it Wednesday or Thursday.
So I went digital for that via the Turkish PSN store for only like £40. So
well, that's really good. But I would have gone
it.
digital as well, but I had to buy the disc version because, as I said, I've ordered the Mass Effect cache and that comes with a beautiful steelbook that's going to hold my game.
You're not getting that until
June or July, because I'm in the second wave. You know, they sold out the first wave of those.
Well, I'm not surprised, Mike. I mean, it's bloody amazing, isn't it?
Have you seen the people on YouTube who've already got the helmet?
People have already got it?
Yeah, there's videos on YouTube of certain YouTubers that EA or BioWare have sent out and you can see the helmet, and it's brilliant. And you've got batteries in it. You can make it glow red or blue according to Paragon or Renegade.
Oh, smart.
You've got a beautiful lithograph in there, like a silk screen printed thing I don't know whether it's of the Normandy or something. It's a really nice picture, and I'm like, wow, that's coming with it. You get some other little pin that you can flick that you wear. You can flick it as you play the game and decide. It tells you whether your Paragon or Renegade is your choice.
Oh, that's smart. Like a decision thing.
Yeah, it's just a tiny little thing, but the actual pictures that they give you in this pack, which they mention, because the main thing's the helmet that you're paying for. The actual lithograph thing you get looks really nice, and I can't wait to stick that on the shelf as well. So, and you know, maybe we'll do a podcast next when I get the helmet, and I'll wear the helmet for the podcast.
Yeah. Awesome.
Anyway, let's talk about the game at the moment then, which you were the person that made me buy, because I wasn't so keen on this game. And then I looked at your video and I thought,
Yeah, so I thought I'd dabble in the world of Twitch streaming again, seeing as I've got a decent connection off my mobile phone. And it worked out quite well. Apart from that, no one could hear me. Which meant I just talked to myself for an hour, which is weird.
Well, I'm used to doing that.
So, of course, the game at the moment is Returnal. Hang on, I'm just going to bring my screen back up so we can have a look at that.
Yeah.
So, Returnal's a funny game because I think it's fair to say you and I were both not interested in this when it was announced.
Well, I sort of was when I first saw it when they announced the PS5, but then I sort of got turned off it, and also I was turned off by the price.
Yeah, so it
was a bit steep.
It's that first next gen game that's a full £70 digitally. I got it physically from Shop 2 for 64.
Yeah. I think, well, as I said when we were talking earlier, by the time we get to the end of it, I think we'll be like, oh, that was worth it.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Whether I feel that way with Ratchet and Clank, I'm not sure, but that's for another month.
But that looks like a playable Pixar movie, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So, Returnal, it was literally as soon as the YouTubers started doing their previews, I watched a couple of, Skill Up did one, and a couple of other people. I watched their previews and suddenly went, hold on a moment, this is not what this isn't what I thought it was going to be. It's not just like a mindless shooter. It's actually, somebody described it as a cross between Hades,
platformer,
Control, and Metroid. So, yeah, so I thought, right, okay, we'll give this a go. This sounds like right up my street. It's incredible. I'm terrible at it. I'm absolutely...
Oh, well, I also described it as something else, didn't I?
What did you... I can't remember what you described it as.
Didn't I say that it reminds me of a 3D version of something like Ikari Warriors or something like an old school arcade game where once all your lives are gone, you go back to the beginning again and have to put money in again.
Yeah. So it's it's well, first of all, it looks incredible. I don't think I've seen Fog look this good in a video game.
The problem I had when I first got it was that it was during the day, and in my conservatory. It was so bright. It's such a dark game. I couldn't see fuck all. So I had to keep using the scanner so I could see where the hell I was meant to go.
Yeah, I'm only playing this at night. There's no point trying to play it during the day because I can't. You're missing out on the quality.
The atmosphere. Yeah.
The atmosphere of this game is incredible. The storyline. So basically, if you haven't played it already, the storyline is you are an astronaut who has crash landed on a strange planet, and you're trying to get off the planet. But what you found is every time you die, you come back to life. You're caught in a time loop. Hence the name.
Which seems to be the flavour of the month this year, doesn't it?
Time loops, yeah.
Yeah.
Time loops are always cool.
What's the first game that you can remember that actually utilised the time loop?
First game that did time loops?
This is just a bit of trivia. What game was the first game that actually utilised the mechanic of a time loop?
Time Splitters?
Time Splitters?
Maybe Time Splitters. Hang on. So this is the problem, isn't it? So
How
I'm
about
going to talk about this game, but whilst playing it, I'm also going to be distracted because the enemy.
Didn't Day of the Tentacle have some time looping shit? You know, like one of the LucasArts adventure games.
What was it called? Loom.
Day of the Tentacle.
Oh, Day of the Tentacle, of course, yeah.
I think one of those games had some sort of time. I mean, I think the first games to have time looping would have been some sort of adventure game.
Oh yeah, I think you're probably right with the analogy for Day of the Tentacle.
Yeah, I know there was something. I'm trying to think of a game where you do something, then you'd come back, time would loop around, and what you'd done in the first time zone was then reflected in the second time zone. There's games like where you'd move something and then you'd loop the. Isn't there a game called Swapper? Oh no, you know Braid. Braid,
yeah.
That sort of philosophy of moving time backwards and forwards. That's a bit more intense, isn't it? But I mean, this is look at those bullets. That's why I said Ikari Warriors. Do you remember Ikari Warriors? They would shoot you like that, wouldn't they?
Yeah. So the action. So basically, once you get into the levels, there's several things going on here, isn't it? That's quite interesting. Is one, they're procedurally generated.
The trigger thing's very good, isn't it? The trigger. Left trigger thing. The
adaptive trigger is sort of like hold it all the way down to do alt fire or halfway down, but it kind of clicks, doesn't it? You've got a tension before it.
It really works well. It's like you try and squeeze. If you lightly squeeze the left trigger, you then stop halfway because it feels like there's a barrier blocking you from squeezing it.
Yeah.
But then you squeeze it even further, and that releases the alt fire.
And then the other thing is you've got
an aim.
You've got the haptic feedback.
Yeah, and there's sounds out of the controller. They actually utilise the actual controller the way it's meant to be utilised, I think, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely.
Ooh,
yeah. So nice. I mean, like the rain, very early on, you start feeling rain through the controller and things like that. You feel like big enemies growling from far away, and they've really utilised it. I've also noticed that they must be utilising it very well because the battery runs out quicker on my DualSense.
Yeah, they do. It does cane the batteries, yeah.
So, and then of course the other thing is so have you been playing this just on your TV with a soundbar?
Yes.
This is the first game I would ever recommend wear your headphones.
Has it got 3D audio then?
Yes.
Oh, right. I'm definitely going to put the headphones in.
It is possibly one of the best implementations of 3D audio I've ever heard.
Oh, fantastic.
It is essential to play with headphones on, because you can literally pinpoint enemies by hearing them.
Awesome. Oh, I'm glad you said that, because then this is the game that is a true next gen game, isn't it?
Yeah. And then of course, I mean, for me, I was quite surprised that the 3D audio. I haven't got the Pulse headset, but I have still got the wireless headset from PS4, the Sony one, and the 3D audio works fine through that too.
So the Pulse thing is the same fucking headphones, really, but in white. I've got the Pulse, but you know.
But yeah, I would recommend playing this with headphones on all the time.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. This is the sort of game that I would play it for a few minutes, and then you think, shit, I've been playing it for hours.
Yeah.
It's really addictive.
The fact that every time you die, and dying's not like, I think I get to a point where I've died 3 times in a row, and then I go, right, that's it, I'm done. And I just walk away, but I'm not annoyed. I'm not fed up or angry, like if a Souls game would make me really.
No, you just run out of quarters to pump into the arcade machine.
It's like, I'll come back tomorrow. I'll try again tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact that every time you've got to
learn the attack waves, haven't you?
Sorry?
You've got to learn the attack waves. You've got to learn how to cope with what the game throws at you. So when you get to a new area, the first thing that normally happens is you fucking die because you're encountering something you haven't encountered before. Next time, you know that, like in Scramble, these asteroids are going to start flying at you. So you know you need to be in a certain place on the screen. That's why I think this is basically an arcade game.
And some runs are going to be good. You know, some runs you're going to have everything. It's going to give you everything you want. And other runs, you're going to have so many enemies, all rubbish pickups, and it's going to be an absolute struggle. But it's not a problem. You just know that you start again and carry on.
The great thing is, the more you play it, the more you understand what could potentially be coming, and then you work out strategies to cope with that. And it's great. It is like, I mean, I'm not a Souls fan at all or anything like that, but this, for me, is a pure old-fashioned 80s arcade style. Difficulty. That's what it is. It's an arcade game dressed up in Emperor's new clothes.
Each one of the rooms is sort of like the combat rooms. There's always multiple exits, and those exits can lead to different things like power-up rooms or challenge rooms. There's hidden rooms in every level as well, where it's sort of like you get taken to a different area, and it could be a treasure room or a mini boss or.
There's something I haven't discovered yet, but there's some ledges where there's like an orange or red dot, and I think you get a grapple gun or something.
So when you finish the first boss, the next permanent upgrade you get is a grapple gun.
Right, and then that will open up more gameplay elements when you die and you start from the beginning again.
Absolutely. So I think the way it works, from what I've heard from people who have got all the way through, is that the game is split into 2 acts. So first, there's 6 biomes in total. The first 3 biomes are Act 1, and then when you start Act 2, when you die, you always start in the 4th biome.
Right.
I don't know what the story element of that is, but anyway.
So there is a midway save point.
So essentially, when you defeat the first boss and you die, in the second biome, you still go back to the first world and have to fight your way through it to get to the second world again. But now you've got the incentive of all these grappling hook points to get to places you couldn't get to before. Because there's some rooms, some rooms in the first biome which are literally inaccessible unless you've got that add-on. So
that's a little trick they've nicked from Nintendo and Zelda, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also
which is a great gameplay mechanic.
There's also like hidden rooms with locked gates, and there'll be a hidden switch in each of the.
Did I tell you I found a room where you could recharge your health?
Oh yeah, look, what like a health a bed?
It's like a coffin or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
there's
found that the other night. So each time I play through, I discover something new, but I end up, you know, I mean, you do have to learn from your mistakes. Like in life, you have to try and learn from your mistakes. And I say one time I got a bit cocky and I thought I knew the level, and ended up jumping down into lava and dying. And I thought, oh shit, they caught me out there, which is good. So I really like it. I think by the time I think it's interesting because even when you complete it, you could probably still want to play it again to do it quicker and have
yeah. I
a
think the
different
thing they've
run, you know?
got here is they've made the game challenging, but they've not made it punishing. You know,
Yeah.
Souls games are punishing, and you feel like I don't really want to go on.
Well, at the end of the day, if you can come back and do it and actually not die, then the only reason you died in the beginning was because you just rushed in and you didn't think about things. If you took your time, you could probably, with knowledge of actually, someone could actually start the game and play all the way through right to the end
Oh yeah,
if they weren't human beings and flawed and make fuck ups.
I think there's actually somebody who actually has already played through the whole game in their first life.
Really?
But he was probably not human.
Well, you know,
But then,
if you got the reactions of a teenager, then fine. But I haven't.
but then there's all these other things. I mean, the world is great. The gameplay's great. The gunplay's great. The procedurally generated worlds are great. But then you throw into all of the systems that are going on as well that are there to benefit you or not benefit you. It opens up a new level where you've got some like malignant items that are like toxic.
Yeah.
So
There's lots of strategic decision making going on.
Well, if I open it, I'm going to get more than likely I'm going to get a suit malfunction, which will limit me in some way. But I might get a good thing by opening it. Then there's the parasites.
Well, I like the way that it gives you like a checklist of things that you can do to clear the malignancy, which is like kill 20 enemies.
And the advice that I've been looking at tips videos, like trying to help them, where am I going wrong? And one of the tips that someone's given me someone gave on one of their videos is the malfunctions, the suit malfunctions are not a big deal. They're not a big problem. They're literally they're limiting for a short period of time, but they're always fairly simple to get rid of. Yeah. And you can get rid of them by just naturally moving forward with the game.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I've noticed. And I'm not bothered about getting malignancies, to be honest with you, because normally you get something quite beneficial, like a better weapon. What's the thing that you need to get in order to upgrade your weapon proficiency and it remember it, or does it not remember it?
Sorry?
Does it remember your weapon proficiencies from previous runs or not?
No.
Okay.
But no. So apparently, and this is all stuff I don't know because I've not done it. Once you get past the first boss, you can then go to something. I think it's like a data cube machine. Have you found in one of the levels, in chests, you find a cube, a data cube that says it's a shield data cube or something else?
No, I haven't played it that much.
So there are sort of like these pickups that are like data cubes, and they are permanent upgrades to
I have had some permanent upgrades, yeah.
But you have to decode them at this computer, but this computer is only available after you do the first boss. So yes, I think there are things you can do to permanently give you an advantage, as well as But yeah, well, I mean,
because that's a classic roguelike, isn't it? Is that you keep dying, but each time you make a little bit more progress and you get a bit more powerful, which then means you can go a bit further and then die again and then get a bit more powerful. and it keeps that gameplay loop going.
Absolutely. Yeah. I also like the fact that there's no mucking around with this game, is there? It's like you start the game and you're in it. There's no title screen or press X to start. It literally goes to the next run and you're in there. Boom.
Yeah.
So.
I'm really I'm glad I bought it, and it's the sort of game that if you just want to fuck around for an hour, it'll be fun to just. It's like an arcade game. It's like putting on Defender or Scramble or whatever. It's an arcade game, but done in like a super duper graphical, amazing sort of way.
I think
for me, it's the evolution of the arcade game.
I think this is Housemarque's. This is what they've been building up to all these years, doing Stardust and other games. They've been building up slowly to this game, and if Sony don't do the smart thing and buy them, and buy them outright to become an in-house developer for first-party titles.
Well, this is a Sony game, though, isn't it? It's a first-party game.
Housemarque is still an independent studio,
right?
Whereas, like, Insomniac are part of Sony now, and so they need to buy Housemarque because they've made them.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So yeah, but apart from Returnal, I've only played 2 other games this month. I've played them obsessively. One of them's still Marvel Avengers.
Oh yeah, well that actually came. You could buy that for 23 quid on PS5, couldn't you?
Yeah, that game is brilliant. Sorry, I'm not going to lie. I'm really enjoying it.
If you're enjoying it, you're enjoying it. I enjoyed Anthem.
I've done the story. I'm at Endgame. I'm doing like the online stuff, and it kind of just works. You don't need Whereas like with Destiny and the Division, you need to go in with a group of people who you need to communicate with them, and you need to object or make strategies and do objectives. Avengers,
if you're doing a raid,
go in a gang of people, head towards the objective marker and punch shit. It's literally that. It's simple. It's not the best game in the world, but the way it does it is pretty good. Pretty good. I'm pleased I bought it for 20 quid.
Yeah. Well, then that's the price of a couple of coffees and a sandwich these days, isn't it?
Exactly. So no, I'm more than happy. And they're just about to bring out more of their DLC. They're bringing out MCU actual outfits for all the characters.
You're going to have to pay for that Black Panther shit, though, aren't you?
No, the Black Panther shit's free.
I thought you got to pay for it.
We went through this last podcast. I'm not falling into your hole. The Black Panther expansion is free.
Don't fall into my Black Panther hole.
No. So that Black Panther expansion is free to all players. The whole expansion.
If it comes out.
Oh, it'll come out.
Do you think that Crystal Dynamics are going to pull themselves out of this financial hole, or are they not in the financial hole?
I think bearing in mind that the people behind them is Square, and Squaresoft tend to throw money at failing games until they work. They've done it in the past with Final Fantasy Online, so I think it's fine. I still think that they've made a massive mistake. They made a massive mistake by releasing it on last gen platforms, because on next gen,
so what does it play like on PS5?
Beautiful. Just
really. If it's only 20 quid, I might even go for it myself.
The sort of like on the PS4, the big problem was that they didn't look right. The characters didn't look right. The outfits looked rubbish.
Yeah,
it just looked off. On the PS5, they look better. I think it's just because there's more. The lighting's better, and there's possibly more reflections going on.
I might just throw 20. If it's only 23 quid, I don't know whether it's still on sale now. I bet it won't be now. I was going to have a look, then maybe I could join you at some point.
But oh no, it's $44.99 again.
Wankers! I'm not buying. I'm not paying that.
I would say, you know, a cheap physical PS4 copy, you know, and you just free upgrade it to PS5. I've enjoyed my time with it, and I'm looking forward to other stuff coming out. And I may even be a sucker and spend the money on the Marvel Cinematic Universe outfits just to be an idiot. But you know, I'm kind of into it.
You wouldn't be the first or the last person to spend your hard-earned cash on bullshit. That's what gaming's about, isn't it?
So yes, I'm still enjoying that. And then the only other game I've been playing is possibly the Switch's best-looking video game to date, which is Monster Hunter Rise. Monster Hunter Rise is a brilliant game. It's essentially the Resident Evil engine running on Switch. It looks, it's comparable to the Monster Hunter world on the PS4. It's not.
Are you going to buy a 4K Switch Pro when it comes out?
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably do that. What are you going to do with the old one?
Give it to the kids.
Give it to the kids. Yeah.
So they can have that Animal Crossing island.
Yeah.
But Monster Hunter Rise does, it's the best of both worlds. Monster Hunter World expanded on the game and opened it up for a lot more people. So you and I were playing it a lot, weren't we, when it came out? And we had a good time with it.
Yeah.
But it was a bit long-winded. You had to investigate animals and you used to track prints.
Oh, good. You had to go around sniffing for this, that, and the other.
Yeah,
and track
until you could locate them and then they'd appear.
Yeah.
On the 3DS version of Monster Hunters, because they're designing it to be quick and light, they never had that.
Yeah.
But Monster Hunter World has the big sprawling open map, and the 3DS version is each of the maps are broken down into 10 other sub maps that there's constant loading screens. So when you inevitably hit a monster enough and it runs off fleeing to the next area, you're going to have a couple of loading screens whilst you chase after it.
That was it.
So what they've done with Rise is they've kept the sort of portability, the light version of the combat, kept it action orientated, so you can play locally with people quite easily. It takes like 20 minutes to do a monster hunt. And they've kept the open world levels of the Monster Hunter world and just put it all on the Switch, and it just works brilliantly. It's just like they've geared it up for speed. There's no sort of like mucking around. You can literally go. You can hop on a quest and do it in 15 minutes, but still feel like you've achieved something like you did in the other Monster Hunter game. But it's well worth. I'm really, really pleased I picked that up.
Yeah. Well, Switch-wise, I've got that
Hunter,
Mario Golf game coming out in June, but it's not until the middle of June.
What's that?
Well, games I've already paid for. I've got Mario Golf coming out in June.
Yeah.
And I've also paid for Skyward Sword, Legend of Zelda HD.
Really?
I bought one of those 84 quid bloody vouchers that you get 2 full price games for a discount.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, actually. That is a good idea.
Yeah. So I've done that. As I said, Mass Effect is coming. Resident Evil Village is paid for. The only other games on my radar probably, well, definitely it's going to be Judgment 2. That's for a fact. There's even talk that RGG Studio, he said he wouldn't mind doing a complete remake of one of the Kenzan sort of samurai games, which would be interesting. So I tell you what, I just hope that Xbox don't buy Sega or RGG Studio, because that would really piss me off.
I don't think that'll happen.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, because Xbox is sniffing around anything that has any remote.
Yeah, but
Sony
Xbox are also like Microsoft were about to rumored to be buying Discord completely, but all of a
that's
sudden
Sony.
they've now Microsoft were meant to be purchasing the whole company, but instead Sony's gazumped them and it entered into a partnership with Discord to bring Discord to PlayStation.
Yeah.
But also Discord get to be their own company still. So it's kind of like...
Well, there's also the rumour that Sony has got the trademark now for Jet... Is it? What's that? Not Jet Set Radio, the...
Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah.
Which was an Insomniac Xbox game, which apparently was really, really good.
Well, they own Insomniac, don't they?
They do.
Well, there you go. They're going to bring out a new version of that, aren't they?
Yeah.
Interesting. And then there's also rumours of this Metal Gear Solid being remade from the ground up by the guys that did the Demon Souls game.
Mm-hmm. What, Blue Point?
So, yes, there's a lot of good stuff. I want Far Cry 6, to be honest with you.
And they reckon it's Aspyr Media who are doing the Knights of the Old Republic reboot.
Oh, are they? Oh, interesting. That'd be good, because that's another good BioWare game, isn't it?
Mm. So hopefully
I'll be really interested in playing that.
They've got the hopefully got the legs to do that. I mean, they did. Are they the people who did Layers of Fear and Observer, aren't they? Aspyr.
Are they?
Yeah, I think they are.
I thought Aspyr were the people that did all the PC, and they took like old games and made them playable on modern PCs.
I think they've done that as well. But I think they also made games in their own right. I might be wrong, but I thought they made games in their own right.
The point is, if they're the same company, then they are perfect, because they can take an old game and get it working on modern hardware, and then they can do all the upgrades as well. I wonder what happened to the Blade Runner remake of the like totally remaster or whatever of the Blade Runner click and point adventure.
That might still be coming. I think it was a way off when they announced it. It was a way off.
Yeah. Far Cry 6 I'm after. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. I did play Black Flag and complete it. That's the other game I played a lot of. I got back into Black Flag because when it was pissing down the rain, I just thought, you know what, I want to see some nice sunny beaches and Caribbean seas and stuff. And I played it start to finish, boom. The only thing I didn't do is I didn't clear up every little thing, object everywhere. And I killed one of the legendary ships, which is one of our videos on our channel as well, if you want to check it out. I only just managed to destroy the bastard. I literally had the smallest sliver of health left you've ever seen. Yeah, I did quite a few little bits of Black Flag, didn't I? This is what I wanted to say. You know, we've had these updates on the operating system for PS5. Well, a few weeks ago, I just noticed that my PS5 was sort of turning its bloody self on all the time. And when I would use my telly and switch from looking at YouTube on an app on the telly to just turning it off, my PS5 would turn on. So after you told me about this setting problem with streaming, that when they did the update, it then meant you have to go into the broadcast settings in order for your voice to be heard. Because I did a few broadcasts, and believe it or not, I was actually chatting all the way through it, but it didn't come out.
Yeah.
It's probably a blessing in disguise, really. But so I changed that, and then I went in the HDMI settings this morning, and I thought, hold on a minute, there's this bloody thing that says enable something HDMI.
Device link.
Fucking thing. Turn that bastard off, and all of a sudden it's not doing that stupid turning on it whenever it felt like it. Because the soundbar is linked with HDMI as well, and as soon as the signal goes through HDMI, it was like being
turns on. Yeah, that'll be it.
Yeah,
it's literally just down to that. Yeah,
so
I actually use it on mine.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, and then I can use my remote control for the TV to actually move around the menus of the PS5.
Oh, I wouldn't bother with that. I use a controller. Although I did drop Coca-Cola onto my media remote. Fuck's sake. Or orange juice or something. I know, and the buttons are all like sticky and clicky. They're like, like you click it and then it takes ages to bounce back up again. Oh god, they're stuck. Oh god.
I can even hear
I
it.
might have to throw it away and buy a new one.
Oh. Well, no, I think you just need some sort of alcohol.
Yeah.
Clean it with
I'll take it to work. Maybe my IT guy at work will fix it for me.
Just needs a clean.
So, is Game open now? There's a shop.
Sorry?
Is Game open? So if I had any games, I could take physical games. Could I trade games in at Game now?
You can indeed.
Are they open now?
They're open now. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got because I bought a load of physical games from my PS5, and I'm like, I might have to trade a few of them in. But I still haven't played Godfall, and then I found it. I couldn't find it because when I went to hospital, I took the PS5 and I lost the fucking box, and now I found it. So I need to play Godfall because that looked quite good actually.
I think it's had a few updates as well, so I think it is a bit better.
So the main thing is when I had this PTSD after coming out of hospital, I was a bit weird with my PlayStation. I'm now like, what with Returnal and Judgment and stuff. I'm really enjoying my PS5 now. I'm so glad I got it because I was sort of using it as a PS4 super fast loading machine rather than a PS5 itself. And now some more PS5 specific upgrades have come out. I'm like, this is pretty cool. So I'm really pleased I got the PS5 now. So, although, guess what? Typical. Even though it's probably an update, it won't play 3D movies out of my PS5.
It doesn't support it.
No, which is horse shit. And so that means my PS3, which is plugged in above it, I still need to keep, which isn't a bad thing because I've got a shit ton of PS3 games I stocked up on. All the James Bond games and shit like that.
Well, that was a big thing, wasn't it? Is that Sony, of course, said that they were going to pull the digital store for the PS3, Vita, and PSP.
Yeah.
There was so much outcry from people that they've reinstated the PS3 and Vita stores. But the PSP is still going.
At least they're bloody listening.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
I mean, they're not perfect. They're a corporate entity that's not perfect.
No.
I mean, people fuck up and make the wrong decisions and what they think's a good decision. I mean, look, they've got some bean counter somewhere, like looking at the stats of the usage on Vita. I mean, it must be pretty appalling, really. But then I don't understand it because I know that in some countries, like Brazil and places like that, the PS4 is like a really big thing,
Yeah.
Because they're so fucking poor in some of these countries. For them to get a PS4 is like, oh wow, this is like the newest, greatest thing.
But the Sony say that the PS5 shortages are going to go into way into 2022.
Well, that's because of COVID, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's because of COVID. That means the manufacturing is down, which means that there's. But so I'm actually now feeling very, very lucky that I actually got one.
Well, I think anyone that's got a PS5 or a Xbox Series X, anyone that's got a high-tech toy in this world is very lucky. We don't realise how lucky we are. Because in some countries, they got fuck all.
Yeah.
So, we're all really lucky.
Yeah.
But it just becomes the norm and what you get used to. That's the way of the world, unfortunately. So we know we can't all have it. But I'm glad you got one anyway, at least. Paul, the one... See, I paid for my PS5 by selling my VR and my PS4. By the way, I've pulled out that external fucking hard drive that I had plugged in for PS4 games. I'm like, I don't need that. Because my internet is different for you, but my internet's so good that if I want a game, I'll just re-download it if I got it on digital.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'll run it off the SSD, and I don't care whether it's a PS4 or a PS5 game. It's going to run better off of the SSD. I just want Sony to pull their finger out their arse and release these SSD-compatible expansions.
I've moved a couple of PS5 games over to my external drive.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you got issues with speed.
Then I can move them back when I want to play them, so it'll be fine. I'll tell you what, I was going to show you this. I did get something.
What? Oh, this is the first time I can see your room, really.
There you go.
Lovely.
Reminds
me of your flat, those units.
That's exactly what it's meant to look like. So, because there's a couple of
man cave. Yeah.
There's a couple of VR games.
Yeah.
That don't work with this.
Ah, right.
So I needed to get a DualShock 4.
Oh, I said I could let you have one, didn't I?
Well, I got one off eBay for like 15 quid.
Oh, it's one of these Mickey Mouse pirate ones.
I think it's a pirate. It's definitely a pirate one, but it works.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah. I've got loads of pirate little PS3 controllers.
But I wanted one in white, so it can go with that.
Yeah, nice. Good for you.
But I'm quite impressed with it. Of course, when you turn it on, I don't think it's meant to light the whole controller up.
No,
underneath the plastic.
Well, look, the fact that you can get that for 15 quid and it actually works, Jesus. Yeah. Just don't complain about joystick. I can't work out why
somebody hasn't made that light as a USB-C add-on to here.
Right.
So you can plug that in. So just the very few.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's a gizmo for your VR.
Yeah, because there's very few
it smacks
VR games
of
that
the
need
Apple
that
mentality, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, we're going to change this fucking port on this phone so that you've got to upgrade to the new phone. Otherwise, this bloody thing we've given you won't work. It won't plug in. You've got to buy all the new accessories, blah, 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 blah. I've actually got my fancy camera installed as well now, which isn't much better than the other one. It looks a bit smaller. It looks like a little robot, actually.
Oh, what, the actual PS5 one?
Yeah, I've got it on my soundbar. Yeah, no, as I say, Mass Effect is going to be beautiful to bury myself in that. I'm going to keep playing Judgment. I've got loads of other games that I could play that at the time. Returnal, I'll jump in and then probably get really addicted to it. I haven't been playing as many games lately, really. I've been watching lots of YouTube crap and stuff like that. I'm into my bike stuff at the moment, so but you know, once Mass Effect comes out, it'll be like, right, boom, I'm gonna play the shit out of that, do every side quest, totally fucking tick every box, you know. And I often say, oh, I'm going to do a fem shep, and then I always end up doing the male shepherd.
Yeah.
But I might do a female shepherd and never go to a lesbian relationship.
Are you going to design you?
No, I don't like that. I don't like doing that. I think that's fucked up. When I see people's other shepherds, to me, it's like, no, that's not the shepherd. That's not the one on the cover of the box. It's either the fem shep or the male shep.
I always remember that the characters were so more advanced for Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
They promised that you'd be able to import your character's save game, but the likenesses weren't necessarily right.
No.
So I remember when I first imported my Mass Effect me into Mass Effect 2.
Oh, did you? Did you?
God, it looked awful. It looked like complete Deliverance style person. So I had to then retweet everything.
To be honest with you, the best I've ever looked in a video game was when we had Fight Night Round 3 or something on the Xbox. And my character and your character looked so realistic, and we were knocking 10 bells of shit out of each other, and we end up with bruised faces and eyes pissing blood. And it looked so realistic. We were laughing our heads off. It was so funny. Do you remember that?
Why has EA dropped that franchise in favour of UFC? Because that Fight Night Champions was amazing. That whole series was absolutely brilliant.
Fight Night's brilliant. I think I've got a Fight Night game on my PS3.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was the last time. It was PS3 and Xbox was the last time it worked, wasn't it? They did one.
I mean, that's when we got real sweat going down the brows of in-game characters. But my guy, I don't know whether we used a photograph to import our face, did we?
Yeah, there was a way that you could take your photo.
You uploaded it to a website?
Yeah, you took your photograph that way, and then you had to take your photograph that way.
That's it.
And then you sent it to a website, and it downloaded, and then it gave you a code for the game, and all of a sudden you were in the game.
Yeah, and it was hilarious to see your face getting smashed to fuck by some boxer. I just found it so funny to see.
It was really, really good. When we played it online,
was so funny.
It was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. In-game face modeling, that's something they need to focus on. I think they need to bring that back. So if they give you a character creator in, say, Mass Effect, they should say, if you've got a camera, we'll take some pictures of you, and then we'll try and, through some morphing program, we'll make it look like you. If they did that, then that'd be different. But unless you can design a character that looks just like you, I could try it, I suppose, but you need to have pictures of yourself and really spend hours modelling it, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
There's a question for you. So what other game have you had your image in the game?
Actually imported it. Wasn't there one of the skate games? Maybe Tony Hawk. One of the Tony Hawks. Maybe
I didn't play any of the Tony Hawk games except for the ones in the game.
NBA. The NBA 2K20 let you do it using the PlayStation camera, but it didn't work very well.
I think I had my face imported on an American football game.
Madden definitely did it at one point.
If you did it on a motor racing game, that'd be really good as well. You know, like an F1 game or something. Wouldn't that be good? To have your face in the game. I think that's such an underutilized thing that these days would be so fucking easy to do.
I remember it. The NBA 2K20 way of doing it was you had to download the phone app.
Right.
And that meant that you had to put the camera in front of your face.
Yeah.
And slowly move it.
Oh, yeah. That would make sense. Because then you get a 3D model then.
And every single time you did it, it said you've gone too fast. Slow down.
Oh, did it?
And you do it again, and then say, no, you're too close to your face, move away. And it's like, after 20 minutes of trying to get this stupid app to do it, you just give up and just say, right, I'll just be the wrong character.
Well, you know what I'm saying, though? I think that's going to be something which we need to address, because I'd like to see, if anything that's got a character creator, I'd like to see there be an option saying, do you want to import your photo? You know,
or scan my face.
Yeah, scan your face. I wonder if there's, I don't know. Like you say, an app would be the answer, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah,
but an app that fucking works. Yeah, this meeting's going on for a long time. Are we not restricted?
No, apparently not. I thought I'd been kicked. I'm really worried that this isn't going to record when I stop the meeting, but it's saying it's recording and we haven't been kicked out, so I'm just going with it.
Oh, maybe Zoom are feeling the pinch.
Maybe they just know quality podcasting when they see it. Hello, Kat.
Right, well, I'm all out of ideas now. I think I've discussed everything
I think it's time to end this podcast before we do our next month's podcast of just talking about Mass Effect for 2 hours. Mainly because I want to play Returnal, and also because I've just got a notification that there's a live police chase on Facebook, so I'm off to watch that.
You fucking ambulance chaser.
It's the only way I can see Los Angeles these days.
Yeah, it's probably the best place to watch it from afar with all the gun crime and the way the police just basically will end up shooting you just if you like talk to them.
Not all like that.
It's not good. It's not good.
Not good over there.
No.
No.
But their vaccination program is very impressive. They've really caught up, haven't they?
They're getting there.
Have you had your second vaccination yet?
No.
Have you had your first?
No.
You haven't had your first?
No.
Oh, you're not having it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm not having it. That's not a conversation for this podcast. I want to keep it non.
You don't want the AstraZeneca. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. I remember now. Yeah.
I've
had both mine now.
COVID bollocks on here because it upsets everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Well, I'm tired now. I need to go sleep because I'm old now.
Well, in that case, we'll say good night, listeners.
Good night, everybody. Yeah. If you've actually listened this far, thank you very much for actually lasting at the end of this video. No.
See you next month for Mass Effects.